5 months ago, 5 months ago, 4 months ago, 5 months ago, 3 months ago. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. As you saw, pretty much every single Deepwoken monster tier list is made 5 months ago, and I decided that because of Layer 2 coming out, and because I'm waiting to make better content, I decided to make a Deepwoken monster tier list. For starters, the main thing we're going to be ranking on, well, there's going to be two things: mechanical difficulty and statistical difficulty. Statistical difficulty is health and damage, and mechanical difficulty is how many attacks does it have, and are they hard to parry, or do they have specific ways they can or can't do things, or are they more unpredictable? Uh, this is also going to be from the eyes of someone who isn't really a master, because then that would really just be statistical difficulty, but more of someone who's learning the monster and how hard it would be for them to be able to consistently beat said monster. Alright, let's get into it. For the D tier, I'm just going to call these fodder. These are monsters that really, they're really just nothing. You fight them, but are they really a challenge? Are they really going to hurt you? Are they really going to fight back? Most of the time, not. This is your mud skipper, your brain sucker. I don't know why this is here. I just looked up a random link. I'm skeptical to put this here because it has health and it has attacks, but with this specific monster, you can just hit it 3 times and then run away, and it won't do anything to you. I'll also put the jellyfish here. Now, the reason why the jellyfish is here and the fodder tier is because the jellyfish has an attack where it'll shoot 3 jellyfish at you. And if you're strong enough to kill the jellyfish that it shoots at you, it'll get a huge amount of health, but you can then infinitely get more health until you kill it, which is why people call them other jellyfish a stat check, because you just have to kill the first jellyfish, and if you can do that, even if it's corrupted, you aren't going to have a problem. Now for the C tier, this is for monsters that are actually going to put up a challenge, and you may die to. So we're going to start with the Sharko. I should also note that these are in no particular order. If they were in order, obviously I would put it like this because of statistically this has more health than this, and this obviously has more health than this. For the Sharko, this is the first monster most people beat. According to the official Deepwoken wiki, it has 1,000 health and 3,000 health if it is corrupted. Its damage is not that bad. A kick is going to do a lot of your health, especially if you're lower level, but once you're like power level 15, this thing's probably not even going to do a bar a hit, so that's why I put it in the C tier. Next is the Thresher, pretty much almost a carbon copy of the Sharko in terms of statistical and mechanical. The Thresher has 1,200 health and 3,600 health corrupted. Now, the reason why I would say the Thresher, in my opinion, is easier than the Sharko is because the Sharko can kick. And it'll do so whenever it wants, really. But the burrow for the Thresher is very noticeable because it'll go underground and it is extremely easy to dodge. For the only other 3 attacks it has, it's just going to simply do them after 1 or 2, 1, 2, 3 M1s depending on your weapon, and you can parry all of them, which is why the Thresher, in my opinion, is easier than the Sharko. Next on this list is the Crab. The Crab can be a little annoying, especially when corrupted. It has 2,500 health base, and a surprising 7,500 health corrupted. But the thing about its attacks is, well, it is a little bit more dangerous, considering it has Crushing Claw and Ground Smash, Ground Smash can send you flying, and it's a little bit harder to dodge, and Crushing Claw can grip you and auto grip. For the most part, you can kind of just hit it twice or 3 times if you're light, and then dodge to the right unless it's going up into the air, because most of the time, if you dodge to the right, it's only going to hit in this little small space in front of you, so it's really easy. And if it uses Bubble Beam attack, you get tons of hits, which is why I'm also putting this in the C tier. But if this was going to be about corrupted, I would put this more into like the B or the A tier, considering just off of statistical. So the final monster I'm going to put is this little crab thing. I was going to put this in fodder. The pteropod is apparently the official name. Is this little thing has 1,200 health and 3,600 health corrupted. So it's the exact same stats as a thresher, but its attacks. It's going to do both of its little slashes in front of you. It's going to do it 3 times. It's going to do it 6 times, or it's going to do it like 12 times. So it's the exact same move, and it's very, very, very slow, I should add. And the reason why I say that it's slow is because even though it's not too slow walking base, in its attacks you can I don't think you can outwalk it, but I definitely know you can outrun it. If you just run like 3 seconds away from it, you can just wait out its slashes, get 3 M once, run away, get 3 slashes, run away, which is why I think it's the easiest. Out of all of these, I would say, yeah, that's a good order for, in my opinion, challenge. Now we're on to the B tier. Oh, wait, lionfish. Lionfish, this changes whether or not you're in the depths. This is going to be from the viewpoint of the depths, even though these monsters aren't being ranked as corrupted. Because I feel like that's where you're going to fight these monsters. The only time you're really going to fight a lionfish in the overworlds is if you're some poor freshie that has 6 of them jump you at once because some people fished for 10 hours straight. It's, his only attack is bite 3 times, and in the depths, laser. Which, in my opinion, makes it easier because he'll use the laser more, and you can get tons of free hits, and then all you have to do is dodge it as it starts moving to shoot its laser. It's pretty easy. I'll also put the angel. I'm still going to put the angel. Probably like right here. The angel, while it's not that hard, you still need to have a general basis of knowledge of how to defeat a humanoid creature in order to actually fight it. Because in order to kill an angel, you need to do parry, M1 parry, M1 parry crit. It'll die pretty quickly. It only has like 200 health. So it's not a big deal. They do get a little bit easier and or harder depending on how you look at it in Trial of 1, but it's not that big of a deal. Oh, and I also forgot the jellyfish. Now we're on to monsters where I may have to explain myself a bit more. As for the rock golem, I'm going to put them pretty much. I put them in the B tier first, but I would put them. You know what? I'll put this in the C tier. I was going to put it in the B tier because it has more health / resistance and it has a ranged attack and a few other things it can do. But for the most part, it's pretty easy, especially through its whirlwind attack. So I'm going to put this. Let's put it best of C. Actually, I'll put it slightly behind the crab. Think about it. To put up the stats of the rock golem. The rock golem has 3,000 health, and I believe I don't know if it says, goes to 25% slash resistance. What that means is that if your weapon does slash damage, it will actually do 25% less to the Arisian golem. Although that's not really a big deal, it can kind of matter in some instances, making it pretty tanky, but overall, unless it's going to use its Angered Scream attack, which it only uses if you and it or if it's below a surface. The Angered Scream can do a lot of damage, and it's very hard to dodge. And for the most part, it's not going to use it that often, so you don't have to worry too much. Starting us off in the B tier, I wanted to put the Enforcer. If you fought the Enforcer, you know why. It is basically just a parry check. Can you parry? Can you block when feint? Can you crit me? It's honestly a pretty pathetic trial. I do like its existence because apparently gives Belprog for some reason. It shouldn't, but it does. You can kill it 50 times for Belprog, and it's just convenient to farm when you don't know how to beat like huge boss monsters. As for the Enforcer's stats, the Enforcer has 4,000 health, and I believe that's it. Hold up. Its passives are... Doesn't have a passive. Yeah, it just has 4,000 health. If you have a blunt weapon, it's the easiest boss of the game. And if you have a sharp weapon or a slash weapon, It's still the easiest boss of the game. It's honestly pretty pathetic in terms of what it's supposed to be, but it does still do a lot more damage than other things, and you still have to like parry. It does feint. It's the first thing on this list that can feint you, so I will be putting it in the B tier. King Thresher might be a controversial take, but I'm going to put this in the B tier. The reason why I put the King Thresher in the B tier is because it's quite literally just a Thresher with more health and an extra attack. Now, the King Thresher gets a lot of smack for having insanely high amounts of damage, especially when corrupted. And yeah, that's true, but if you know how to fight a Thresher, then it should only take you like a couple tries to learn how to beat a King Thresher. It tests to see if you can consistently handle the normal Thresher attacks and adapt to one new move. And that new move is followed with a pretty loud noise, a pretty distinctive noise that tells you exactly when you need to dodge. So, does that new attack really do anything? It can trick you up a few times if you aren't expecting it, but for the most part, if you know how to beat the Thresher, you will learn pretty quickly how to beat the King Thresher. Now, for the B tier, I'm going to put these side by side. Is the two stone golems. Now, the sand golem is obviously a lot weaker than the winter golem, but the winter golem, it gives Belprog and luck, and this is the thing you fight when trying to get your hero blades. Fundamentally, they're the exact same. While this one is very statistically challenging with having 9,000 health, it still doesn't really do that much damage, and is really just, and these both have slash resistance, by the way. This is really just a check of endurance and level. It's pretty much the same thing as the mother jellyfish, except it fights back. As for where I'd put these, I'd still probably put the Enforcer behind them. I'd put King Thresher in front of them, though. Well, yeah, I'll leave the King Thresher in front of the... No, I'll put the Winter Golem in front, because the Winter Golem has 9,000 health and slash resistance, so unless you have, like, a mace or a sacred hammer or one of the great hammers, this will be an extreme pain to kill. That'll be for the B tier, and now for the A and S tier. The first thing I'm going to put in the A tier is the Deep Widow. Now, if you go online and try and fight a fight of the Deep Widow, you won't, because everyone's cheesing it. It is an extremely easy boss to cheese. But if you actually went toe-to-toe with it, with no verticality or no cliffs higher than 3 centimeters, it'll be a little hard. It can be a little weird at first. The hardest part of it is really just learning how many slashes you can get before you have to parry something, and whether you have to parry or dodge. It has, because no one's ever seen its attacks, it has deep webbing. The Widow spits webs onto her target, inflicting insanity and a new webby look onto them for a short duration. The more webs a player has, the slower they are. Venomous Bite. The Widow delivers a crushing bite, dealing moderate damage and inflicting a lingering poison that damages them over time. Both these are not parryable, but all of her other moves are parryable and have 1-star danger ratings. So it's honestly not that challenging. As 5,000 health, and you know, it would be pretty easy to learn if it wasn't for the fact that it is, at the end of the day, a boss monster, and this does a decent amount of damage, and you have to manage damage over time. It is the weakest, in my opinion, for the A tier, but it is still, I would put it in the A tier. You could also make the argument that it should be in the B tier, but I think based on its health and damage over time alone, I would put it in the A tier. Next, we have... I guess these are both the same monsters, I think. Now, I'm going to put the Owl in the A tier. Now, the reason why I put the Owl in A is the Owl actually only has 1,800 health base. Corrupted is 5,600, but this is a base tier list. And the reason why I say the Owl is an A is because it is very mechanically difficult. In the turns where you have a lot of attacks that you need to manage, and they don't really have, and they can really interact with each other. It'll go into a flock of feathers, which is where it turns invisible, and you have to rapid parry. And then it'll either, charge at you, or sometimes it will just spawn right next to you, go for its someone's attack. Sometimes it'll grab you out of the air. Sometimes it'll just grab you out of the air. If it tries to grab you out of the air when in a flock of feathers, you actually can't even see when it's going to do it to you. So there's a lot of things you have to keep in track when fighting the owl. Everything has a different parry timing, so there's not like you can think of, oh, this happened, so this will be a consistent trend. Nothing is the same about the owl, which is what makes it difficult. But mechanically, since it only has 1,800 health, the average person at like power level 30 or 40 will kill it and won't kill it. Like the battle's not going to last more than like 5 minutes. So that's why I put it in the A tier. If this was corrupted, it would be easily S tier. In my opinion, the corrupted owl is the hardest monster in the game right now, simply because of the amount of damage and health it has and how unpredictable its attacks can be. I'm also going to put Primadon in the A tier, right between Widow and Owl. And the reason why I did that is Primadon statistically is a lot harder with having 4,000 health and requiring you to be a pretty high level to beat it. But it has a large range of attacks, so it should be an S tier. But the thing is, you're only going to run into like 3 of those attacks in a fight. If you're right next to its legs, so basically if you're M1ing it and doing damage, it's gonna do stomp, it's gonna do 3 stomps, it's going to kick, and then it may throw itself backwards. And if you see it moving before you're able to get in M1 range, just dodge. It's a really simple monster for the sole purpose of it's not using enough attacks against you, because by being close to its legs just means close enough to actually do damage with it with your sword. I think that there are definitely more things that they could do, but it did get a buff where it increases attack speed for a while, and it's enraged form, and it has 40,000 health at the end of the day with a 15-minute kill frame. So it's not free, but it's still in the A tier in my opinion. But simply for the fact that of how mechanically easy it is versus how statistically hard it is, it's a weird place to put. If you want to put it in the C tier, I could understand. If you want to put it in the fodder tier, I could even understand that. In my opinion, because it's really hit or miss. It's just so easy to learn, and it's just now. It's really easy to understand its attacks. So once you understand it, you can watch one guide, put it into motion. You've learned everything you need to know. Now for the S tier. I'm trying to see. You can make the argument that Kaido should be an A. Yeah, I'll put Kaido in A. Dread Serpent actually has, funny enough, more health than Primadon. It has 50,000 health. However, it also only has 3 attacks. Ice Beam, Giant Beam. You will be able to know it is using the attack when a Giant Beam is coming next to you. And then a Tail Swipe and 2 Claws. It has 50,000 health. It's very similar to Primadon. You learn its attacks. You learn when to dodge. You've learned all you need to know. You can parry both the swipes and the tail, but you can't parry the beam. Simple as that. Now, in my opinion, the S tier is Squibbo and the Hive Mechs. Yeah, the constructs don't do anything different as far as I'm aware of. They're the exact same, except one will aggro onto you always, and one can be friendly with you. Now the constructs have 3,300 health, but what makes them a little bit hard is they do a lot of damage, and they have a pretty good range of attacks. They have a roar attack, they have a swing attack. See, all of its things do insane amounts of damage. And it even has like attacks meant to like disturb you, meant to like throw you off, throw your vision off, throw your XYZ off. So that's why I put the constructs in the S tier. You can make a better arguments to put them in lower tiers, but I put them in the S tier because of damage alone. And they are. It's a little questionable. Most people don't even fight these things, so people aren't even 100% clear of like what all of their attacks even do. And Squibbo. Now, Squibbo, in my opinion, is one of the hardest ones. I would put it lower if it wasn't for the fact that it has really, really janky animations. The animations of Squibbo are absolutely horrible. Really cool monster, really cool concept, but the fact of the matter is, most of the time, it's very questionable when you're supposed to parry because it has very similar animations to that of the Sacred Hammer or Way of Neve. It just kind of goes from looking like it's going to attack, and then like moves the little model up and hit you. So you kind of, it's a little bit of a guessing game to really understand when it's supposed to parry. It has a pretty large range of attacks as well. So mechanically it's super hard. However, I think it only has like 1,000 health, but 1,000 health is a lot more health than you think when you realize that you're only getting like a couple M1s in because it has a decent amount of posture and and has the intellect to parry even your critical attacks. So this thing will parry almost everything. So it is very annoying. You have the posture break it to even do damage, so it's like a hit or a miss. Very easily cheesable, however, with Sightless Beam or Brace. If you have anything with Hyper Armor or anything that like Sightless Beam, you can kind of just keep a distance. If you have Brace, you can pop Brace, and if you're doing enough damage to do 500 damage with constant M1s win the second, most of the time you'll make it. And with Sightless Beam, I think Sightless Beam can actually kill in one hit. You need to have a friend to like make sure it doesn't come at you and like stop your attacks. I'm pretty sure Sightless Beam takes a minute to load up. But yeah, Sightless Beam does a lot more damage against the depths monsters, so it's a really good idea to have Sightless Beam to kill Scribbo if you're new. Or just want to get some quick bells. That'll be it with the tier list. If you have anything you want to share, any comments, if you want to dispute any of my claims, please leave a comment. I'll make sure to ignore you because I'm always right. And I hope you have a good day. Peace.